People that have restarted in a new city, what are your tips? Nobody knows you, so you can try to change some habits. I was too shy to talk to people and usually just waited for them to approach me. But when I moved I started talking to people first. It was hard, but I'm glad I tried. Changed my eating habits too. Think what kind of a person you wanna be and just try it. See how close you can get. Think what kind of a person you wanna be and just try it. See how close you can get. Love this. The one thing that really surprised me was the fact that I didn't love the new city immediately. It was bigger than I was used to, more expensive, and the job had such higher expectations than my last, same exact job. It all took some getting used to, and that took longer than I thought it would. But I loved exploring little hills and out of the way parks, and one day it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was so in love with this new place, I couldn't imagine ever living anywhere else. Well, of course, now I do, but my love affair lasted a long time. But I think it's a place for younger people, a place to explore and find your way around the city and find yourself. Others have made some really good suggestions, but I think I had to be more comfortable with me before I could be comfortable in a new place. This is so true. When I moved to a city I'd been dreaming of living in years, I felt the same. It was so big, expensive. People seemed grumpy. Why did I ever want to live here? But I gave it time and now I like it. So much of moving is about having patience to sit through the rough transition period. To be fair, some places just aren't compatible with the lifestyle you want. I had trouble making friends in a very family-oriented town I basically hated. And when I moved to a bigger city with more people, I instantly made friends and found awesome stuff to do. Still love it 6 years later. Try to find some kind of social group that pertains to your interests. It's easier in college. That's what I did, and there were plenty to choose from. But there are often plenty of groups for non-students if you look around on social media for advertising and stuff. Things like volunteer work or local activist type groups can be easier options to look for. That's how I started making friends. Agreed. I moved to a new city last year and I had no friends. Then I entered in a taekwondo class and now I have some friends from there. I started climbing because the only person I knew in my new city was climbing. Now I have friends and I'm obsessed about climbing. Trivia bars or activity night style bars. As much as you might hate it, some of them will be like, hey, we need a team over here. Any individuals? And help you guys join almost like a project in school. Keep coming back to the bars and you'll either make friends with the team trivia members or the people who host it / bartenders. Find places you like and return to it, and eventually you'll meet regulars there who will recognize you. It's gonna take a bit of time. I'd add rec sports. Leagues usually allow for free agents to sign up. This is how I made nearly all my friends. I joined a few rec leagues that are geared towards meeting new people and have social aspects after the games, like going to a bar. Did them for years. Met my fiancé through a dodgeball league. I started over in a new city in 2019. If possible, visit the city first. I saved myself a lot of grief by visiting first and knowing the general area. If you can't visit, check out Google Maps. Find a job before you move if possible. I found a job with a chain that had a location in the new city. I didn't need to be retrained, so that was one less thing to stress about. The job was the same. I set it up, so I had 2 weeks before I had to start, so I could unpack and get settled. When you pack, get rid of a bunch of stuff. Have the essentials, like a change of clothes, toiletries, small appliances, and food ready to unpack the first day you arrive. You will be so tired and not want to dig for stuff. Bring a small pack of toilet paper and hand soap for the new place. Try to have at least a pot and a pan, some rubber scrapers, and plates if you can. I'd also pack blankets someplace easy to get out, so you can just curl up and sleep if you need. Moving is stressful, so you want all the stuff you need easy. to get to before you unpack entirely. Locate the grocery store. Also find some local restaurants for those first few days. Don't forget to set up your utilities the first day. That's a must. Find a club if you didn't move with a buddy. Get out your first weekend and go see the sights. Get used to your new environment. The first few weeks just kinda suck. So try to get some good stuff in there. If you can. Try to find a club or two or activities/hobbies before you move. Something to look forward to, and one less thing to stress about. When you first get there, pick a landmark that's visible from most of the city or your neighborhood. A building, monument, etc. When you're learning to navigate that first month or two, that will help you. Make sure you can get home from and get to the landmark. That way, if you ever get lost, just head toward it and then you can get home. Eliminate some panic and stress. This was one of the most helpful things I did when I moved. On your last point about navigating, take the time to get to know your way around the city. Just walk around the neighborhoods. Get a basic idea of the layout of the place. I have a housemate who has lived in our city for 3 years and still can't get around without a struggle. Normally not a problem with the invention of Google Maps, but it gets tiresome and honestly kind of embarrassing after this long. Yeah, also adding to that, take a new route home from work/the supermarket/etc every time. After you've learned the fastest route, you might get lost a couple of times. In the worst case you've got Google Maps, but I've found that I can usually find my way before I need Google Maps, and I've gotten to know my neighborhood and large parts of the city quite well through this way. Get to know your immediate neighborhood. My family and I moved last year from the US South to the PNW. I went through a period of feeling very homesick and disconnected to my surroundings. I changed my mood by really making my neighborhood my own. I started talking and becoming friendly with the people nearby that I come into contact with on a regular basis, like my pharmacist, barista, crossing guard, etc. I get out every day and go run in my local park, and it helps me to feel connected to where I'm at. I try to look around and remind myself that this is my home. I think this all sounds goofy, but it helped a lot. This works though. I have this favorite gas station that I routinely visit, and the cashier always asks me, "You gonna win today?" Because I always buy a scratch off or to lol. When I saw construction starting around the corner, I got very defensive of my neighborhood, even though I lived a couple blocks over. Whether this sounds goofy or not, humans build relationships through interactions. I have moved many times. I know that I will hate my new environment for about 3 weeks, so I plan for that. I stock up on food I will enjoy, have something I like to drink, and arrange for entertainment, books, music, TV, whatever you enjoy. After 3 weeks I start to feel more comfortable and do lots of the following. I always find the library closest to home and get a card right away. Get a map and learn your way around the city. Explore. Read the local newspaper, even a throwaway one. Find the rummage sales, antique or car shows, free concerts, food fairs, etc. This is tougher during the pandemic, but will pay off in the long run. Pursue hobbies or start a new one. This should connect you with some like-minded people. Take a class, perhaps pertaining to your hobby. Join a professional organization or some other organizations that pertain to your interests, e.g. church groups, book clubs, music venues, science lectures, etc. Find what the new city is known for and join in. If it's art, go to the art shows. If it's roses, then learn where to see them, etc. As you learn your way around, invite others to join you. Even if it's just a trip to the farmer's market, a stroll through a park, or shopping for wine. When you invite someone, they are more likely to reciprocate. Be generous with your smile, encouraging words, a friendly demeanor. I've moved a lot too, and I would also add that I only start to feel settled in after about 6 months. Totally have the 3 weeks of hating it, and you'll still have times when you are so unbearably homesick. Keep in touch with your old friends periodically if you aren't trying to cut ties. And don't go back to visit for at least 4 months. Enjoy the relationships you made and throw yourself into figuring out the new place. You made friends before. You can do it again. Promise. I feel the same way about moving in general. I've moved to new cities about 6 times now and moved houses around 15 times in the past 10 years. I hate it for the first 6 months. It takes around that time to figure out the feel of the house/city and get comfortable. There are so many little things you forget once you settle in, and they always come rushing back when you move.